Get rich fast with csgofast.com.
ELEAGUE Major Day 2 is underway, the second round of the Swiss format in the group stage. Liquid have just come out on top against FlipSid 16-14. A very, very nail-biting match towards the end, especially with the close rounds that happened. Let's start there. Obviously, we have to talk about the start, where I think you had 5-0, and then you went on to only get 6 rounds in total in the half. So yeah, talk to me about that. Explain the situation a little bit.
Yeah, I think coming in, our mindset was pretty good. We had a pretty good idea of what we wanted to do on our CT side. Obviously, just play with confidence, like most American teams. We have some setups we actually had that were supposed to counter some of the FlipSid stuff. And yeah, as you said, early on it worked pretty well. I think we ended up winning that first gun round, and then just things kind of started to fall apart. They won like 4 or 5 rounds in a row. Then we won 1 gun round. Then we got our money broke again. I think we maybe started to underestimate them a little bit. We were getting the first 5 rounds were pretty one-sided, and I think we were just kind of running them over at the beginning. And maybe we got a little complacent or something. I don't actually know, because obviously I haven't watched it.
Sure.
But we were giving up a lot of early picks and a lot of early deaths. We got caught off guard a couple times. So yeah, at the beginning, I don't know, maybe we just had too much confidence coming in.
What about towards the end? Obviously, like I said, a lot of the close rounds, a couple of 1v2s, even though the last one Markelov didn't have any time left to defuse. Talk to me about that, especially I guess the 1v2 that you lost towards the end. Was that just a couple of mistakes from your team? Was it a good play from him?
I think it was primarily mistakes on our end. I'm standing here even though we won, and it honestly doesn't feel like we won. Like, sure, we won at the end of the day, but it was not a clean win. That game maybe should have even went into overtime, and the outcome could have changed. So, we definitely have our work cut out for us going into tomorrow, figuring out exactly what went wrong in a lot of those rounds. And we ended up losing like a 4v2 or a 2v4 for when we were in the 4, and then that last round was a 1v2 that we lost. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like it was a very satisfying win, but as a win is a win, and just gotta take it and keep going.
Now, talking about the close matches, obviously yesterday, that's a whole other story. I think you were down like, what was it, 8-15, something like that. Came back, obviously off the back of the JDM clutch, the huge clutch that happened. What do you remember from that game? Really, that first of all made you come back, and second of all, obviously allowed EnVyUs to win in the end.
Yeah, I think that one round really just gave us all like the motivation to just keep going, and we were all super into it after that and super hyped. So yeah, winning that round was really good for our morale and our motivation moving forward past that round. And I think we had like a pretty close 1v2 that ELEAGUE had like a double spray down in one of the last rounds before overtime too. So that all really helped, and I think we pushed into overtime, and we had like 2 rounds where we were on match point. We couldn't close it out. I think they just caught on to what we were doing on our T side specifically. Our CT side was obviously the weaker of the 2 halves that match, and once they found out what we were doing on our T side, it was hard for us to kind of readapt again. So yeah, they had a good read on us towards the end, and it's unfortunate that we took it that far and we weren't able to close it out, but such is Counter-Strike, and we went back and we looked at it and we figured out what we could have done differently and what actually went wrong. So yeah, it's just all using it as kind of like homework and motivation to make sure we don't do that moving forward, or who knows what will happen.
Now, I want to go back, talk about preparation. I already got a lot of teams, kind of hours that they put into the game before the major, how many days they played for. Yeah, talk to me about that. I know you had a boot camp, so talk to me about how much you played during the boot camp, maybe how many hours.
Yeah, so we took a long break throughout the month of like the end of December and into early January. Nitro ended up getting married. We had a couple guys had their girlfriends come over, so we took like a month and a half off, and then we came back. I think we got to Europe January 7th was our first day of boot camping until the 18th. So we had about 10-11 days of full-on boot camp days. We would start at like, I think our schedule was 2 until 11 or 12 at night. So we were playing between 9 and 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So Yeah, so I'd say we had 10 days of playing 9 hours a day. So we had a lot of time, and then after that we would deathmatch, FPL. People were streaming. So yeah, we actually did put in a lot of time, and I think our T sides are actually going to show that we have actually gotten better. We have a more strategic side to us now. It's not just kind of getting carrying by our CT side anymore. So yeah, I think Zeus helped a lot, and our boot camp went pretty well.
Talking about Zeus, what exactly does he bring to the table? What does he have maybe the most input on?
Yeah, I think he helps everybody, but especially me. Like specifically, I'm trying to learn still how to be an in-game leader and have like an identity as not only an in-game leader but also a player. And so he's been trying to really work with me on developing a style, developing a actual strategy, game plan, having new strategies. So yeah, sometimes on a lot of those breaks that or a lot of our timeouts we have in the game, like he ends up just coming up with a strat that he thinks will work. So he helps us a lot, and his style of coaching, I think, really benefits us.
So you mentioned your style as an in-game leader and kind of like finding your way. How would you explain yourself? How would you maybe say you're leading the team? How would you describe your style?
Yeah, it's weird. It seems like every tournament we go to, it's like a different style for me. And I feel like over the past couple months, I've kind of lost my identity as a player because of it. So, I individually for me, I know like I'm trying to come back to where I once was. I'm trying to adapt to this new role. As far as in-game leading goes, I'm trying to have a looser style of calling, but also having like set executes as well. Like we've always been a very loose team, but we've also kind of steered away from having set strategies and having set smokes and having everyone have like spawn-based strats. And so with Zeus, we're trying to kind of implement that more. And I think our T sides being better are trying to show like it actually is helping. It actually works better for us.
All right, then now let's talk about the other teams as well. Obviously, with the month's break that we had, basically from all LAN events, aside from WESG, but that was kind of a smaller event overall in terms of the competition. We don't really have much of an idea on which teams are in form or which teams can do well here, which teams could surprise. Do you have an idea, maybe based on practice, that the teams we maybe wouldn't expect to do well here?
Mouse Sports was really, really good in practice against us. Like they were, from what I heard, they were crushing everybody in practice. So if they come up with that same kind of heat, maybe they can beat anybody.
What about the favorites?
Favorites, I'd say, I would have said Astralis coming in before yesterday. Now I'd probably just say SK. In practice, they're really good too, and obviously they're just world-class players with so much talent. 2 majors already under their belt, so I'd say SK is probably one of the favorites.
All right, thank you very much. The obligatory interview is done. Obviously, now it's time for your shoutouts.
Yes, we've done this before. I see.
We've done this a couple of times before.
Yeah, so shout out to all the sponsors of Liquid. Obviously, Liquid as an org as well for helping out with everything, giving us a nice boot camp. All the family, the friends, the staff at Liquid, and of course, give a shout out to my mom. Hi, Mom. I know you're going to watch this, so that's a shout out to you.
Okay. That's our third interview from day 2 at the ELEAGUE Major. Stay tuned to hltv.org as we're going to come back with more in the coming hours.